Hi, Axel here, just briefly before the podcast starts. This is what is known as a pre-roll ad. It happens before the podcast comes in. And the reason I'm doing it, it's actually a pretty big deal. I've just got word that we're being picked up and sponsored by, we got a huge sponsor now. Sony Entertainment just picked us up and they want us to run ads, and they want me to read some ads. So, new from Sony Entertainment, the video game to end all video games. Action, adventure, mystery? You'll find all of this and more in Sony's brand new video game, Big Ups Down Under. That's right. Samuel, I can't read this on the copy. It's kind of weird. It's in some odd Australian language. Samuel Didgeridon't is back for a brand new adventure in Big Ups Down Under. 3. Didgeridoo? Question mark? It's apparently some sort of mystery video game. I'm not a big video game person. I'll do a video game masterclass eventually, but it's just big for me because Sony's a giant company, and they're sponsoring me to read ads for their video games within my show. So go out and buy Sony's amazingly fun, action-packed, awesome video game, Big Ups Down Under 3. Didgeridoo? Buy it now. Hello, and welcome to the Masterclass. Hey, everybody, and welcome to a brand spanking new episode of the Masterclass Podcast. I am your host, your teacher, your life guru, Axel. That's right, and I'm here for you today just to fucking teach you everything you're gonna need to know about life, about liberty, and about the pursuit of happiness. I just came up with those 3 things off the top of my head. Can you believe that? That's so profound. I can't believe it. So you're going to get little nuggets like that throughout the show, and I'm just going to be doling them out to you, spoon feeding every little thing you're going to need, friends of me. Today's show is going to be chock full of just the best, the greatest, some of the hottest tips you're ever gonna get on the fucking internet. You cannot Google this. That's why I'm presenting it to you via the Masterclass Podcast. So to get into today's episode, let me start off by telling you a little story, okay? I was going out the other day, running some errands. Usually I walk everywhere because I live in downtown New York City, and public transportation is fucking stupid, and walking is just the best way to do anything, unless you have a vintage bicycle, which I do. I have several vintage bicycles, but they're all at the shop in my basement, being worked on by my live-in bicycle mechanic. So I was walking, and my legs got real tired just around, the corner of First and First. My feet hurt. My knees hurt, my back hurt. And I looked up at the sky, and I said, why, God, why does this happen to good people like me? Why do such shitty things happen to great motherfuckers like myself? And God spoke to me. He said, Axel, you got to get into a car. You just got to drive. So I got out of the city. I decided to go on a little road trip at that point. And then immediately it came to my attention, I am the only person on the road after I got behind the wheel and got onto my road trip. It became very apparent I'm the only person on the road who knows how to drive. Everyone else around me are having some serious issues. They're looking at me like, what do I do? What do I do? And I'm looking at them like, you guys got to figure this shit out, because I'm trying to drive from point A to point B safely. And they are just weaving in and out. They're going fast. They don't check their mirrors. No turn signals. No sort of anything like that. So it became obvious to me, Axel, the host of the Masterclass Podcast, that I need to host an episode of the Masterclass Podcast dedicated to driving and automobiles. Everything centered around automobiles, from driving to automobile care to third thing that centers around cars, maintenance, I guess, all that good stuff. But the only way to do that is to do it firsthand. I don't want to just talk to you guys about it from the comfort of my studio where I'm at right now. So I set off on an adventure, road trip. I'm recording it from point A to point B. This is an investigation like none other, ladies and gentlemen, friends of mine, everybody on the planet who listens to this podcast. So settle in. Listen well. Take notes. Take so many notes. Because we're about to enter Driver's Training 101. This is the Masterclass Podcast Automobile Special. Okay, are we rolling? Are we on? Are we rolling? Okay, everybody, welcome to my fantastic expose investigation, and just the best masterclass I'm ever going to give you, all on the subject of cars and driving, auto care, maintenance, how to clean your car. I'm just going to give you the roundabout, or everything you're going to need to know about your car. Everybody drives cars. I drive a car. I'm driving one right now, and I'll get to that in a second, but I drive a car, you drive a car, your grandma drives a car. Everybody these days drives a car. So I thought to myself, since everybody drives a car nowadays, what would be the best masterclass subject to tackle next? Driving. Automobiles. That's the next subject I'm tackling on the Masterclass Podcast, and I'm doing it while driving. Can you believe that, folks? Oh, I'm gonna not run this red light, okay? There's lesson number 1. Do not run red lights. Why? It's illegal. Number 1, it's illegal. 2, it's dangerous because there were already cars that come in when I had thought to myself, maybe I'll go through this yellow. But I decided not to. Why? Because it's safe. That's what we're on about today, folks. Safety first. I've got my seatbelt on. I've got sunglasses on because it's sunny out, and I don't want the sun to, just to hinder my looking ability, my ability to look. And that's important. That's very important. That's not unimportant, but it's important. Lesson number 1. Do not impede your ability to look, folks. Wear sunglasses. Don't let the sun blind you because, well, my great-grandpappy died because the sun blinded him one day while he was on his Suzuki motorcycle. This was actually only a couple years ago. My grandpa lived to be 150. Good, God bless him. And he lived on his 150th birthday. We bought him a crotch rocket. He thought to himself, I'm 150 years old. I can ride one of these little bastards. So he hopped on, old Gramps. He started rolling. A little way down the road, we saw a train. We said, Grandpa, no, don't do your stunt where you try to jump the tracks. He looked back, he waved, winked. We heard a little ting, and that was it. That was the last we saw. We don't know if he got hit by the train, but after the train had passed, he was gone. We assumed he got hit by the train. And the myth of old Gramps continues. I'm not gonna take a left. I'm gonna get into the left-hand lane. The best way to do that is to signal, look, signal, look, signal, and then look one more time as you're going. People around me do not like to do that. Half the time they don't like to signal, and most of the time when they are getting over, they like to hit their brakes instead of merging or doing any sort of that kind of thing, which is weird because you think if they're merging, they would want to go the same speed that the lane of traffic is going, but most of the time they prefer to slow the flow of traffic because I think they're narcissists and they believe that everybody should be going my speed. And people will just pull out right in front of you. They don't give a flying fuck. They'll make you hit the brakes, and God damn it, you gotta love driving. I love driving, and I'm glad I'm here to give this live presentation of driving for you, my Masterclass Podcast listeners. Hopefully the levels are sounding all good. I've got one hand on a microphone, one hand on my steering wheel, and I'm trying to fumble around, trying to change channels on my radio because I still want to listen to music. I'm taking a left here. Taking a left. I got to signal both verbally and with my turn signals. That's what makes the most sense. And I think that guy's car was loud and my car is not. Aw, crotch rockets. Always reminds me of old Gramps. Oh, God, it puts a bubble in my throat every time I think about Grandpa. But we're moving here. We got a green arrow. I'm having a gay old time. I'm not afraid of driving, which is the number one reason why I should be giving you this masterclass on driving on automobiles. Passing this auto shop reminds me I should teach you a little bit about auto maintenance while I'm driving my car. It would probably be better for me to get out and check on my oil or do something like that, but I'm just going to tell you about it because it makes more sense to me that way. So as I take a right-handed turn here, I am going to discuss oil care. Why don't I just pull off the side of the road, actually? I'm just going to pull off into this field here. Just pull through. I'm just going to drive through the field a little bit. It's a cornfield. It's okay. Farmers don't care because it is a cornfield. I'm basically doing the work for them. They don't want to have to come out and, cut the corn down and husk the corn. Is that what it's called? Shuck the corn. Or is that what you do to oysters? Oysters and corn, I get mixed up daily, folks. I might have to do a Masterclass podcast on oysters and corn just so I can get that shit straight finally. That'll be in a future episode. Look out for that. Subscribe and like. So, maintenance. What was that? That's what I was talking about. Maintenance. Now, the other day, I got an oil changed. I got my oil changed. I brought it to my guy. He's my personal mechanic. I don't do any work on my own car because I don't believe I have to. It's not beneath me, but if you can pay somebody else to do it, which I can pay however much I ever need to. Why do it yourself if you can pay to have somebody else do it for you? That's one of my mantras. Say that with me. Why do it yourself when you can pay someone else to do it for you? And that's car maintenance in a nutshell, folks. I'm not gonna learn how to fucking change my gaskets, how to replace my sprockets, how to turn on a turn signal, how to turn my lights on and off, how to put in my flashers. I'm not gonna learn how to do that. Hell, I don't even know how to change a tire. And I don't need to, because in this day and age, everybody is financially well off enough to be able to afford roadside maintenance. If not roadside maintenance, then constant maintenance and upkeep, just bringing it to the garage. They're able to afford that these days. I am, so I assume everybody else is. Everybody should be at least as affluent as I am, because I am a person of the people. I am one with my fans. We're all the same. And don't even try to deny that, folks. We're friends. You and I, we're best friends. So now we're driving down the road. It is a happy blue sky day. Sunshine is out. That's why I got my eye protection on. I think I earlier mentioned briefly eye protection. I cannot stress this enough. Wear sunglasses. Cover those fucking peepers of yours, folks, because that sun doesn't give a shit. He's gonna be blasting UV rays no matter what. If there's not a cloud in the sky like today, you're gonna want to cover your eyes. Not completely, because that's dangerous while driving. Just cover them with a little bit of protection. This is gonna be fun to explain to you folks. I'm at a 4-way stop and nobody knows who should be the next person to go in the rotation. I'm gonna just go because I'm not afraid of getting crashed into. Here, I'm going. Bye! Bye! Just breezed right straight through. Didn't have to honk my horn to get somebody else to go before me. There was no, are you gonna go? Are you gonna go? Should I go? Should I go? Should you go? There was no inching forward, none of that bull crap. You gotta take initiative, folks. Speaking of taking initiative, you know what? I kinda wanna go to a DMV. I wanna talk to the people. I wanna get what's going on. So I'm about to pull into my local DMV, that's Department of Motor Vehicles, if you don't understand what that means. When I pull in, I'm gonna have to cut to a break because I don't want to record everything. I just want to record the meaty stuff. So I'm gonna walk into the Department of Motor Vehicles. I'm gonna ask somebody behind the counter who might know a thing or two about motor vehicles, because who else would know more than the people at the Department of Motor Vehicles? They're the government. They should know everything about motor vehicles. So I'm inching closer, folks. I'm about to pull up. I gotta throw it to a commercial. Here we go. I'm slowing down. I'm rocking to a halt here. Gotta throw it to a commercial so I can go inside and get you your information. So come on back to the masterclass, everybody. We'll see you on the flip of the break. I love you. Hey folks, Axel here once again on behalf of Sony? That's right, I am sponsored by Sony. They're a gigantic corporation. They saw the beauty in my product and me as a adsman, as a spokesperson. And well, today they've got me talking about the just long awaited for 2017 reboot of the PlayStation 1. The original PlayStation is coming back. They're bringing it back. They're calling it PlayStation Prime or PlayStation Purple Prime, which if you get the special pre-order, oh, this is kind of a mouthful. Pre-order Purple Prime, the pre-order PlayStation Purple Prime, if you get that version, you are going to be the talk of the town. So, get those pre-orders in for the pre-ordered PlayStation Purple Prime. Progress is perpetually pounding away, and nothing makes sense anymore because the PlayStation is back. Play all your favorites, the Banjo-Kazooies, the Spyro, the original Grand Theft Autos. Play it all at the original low resolution, because you know what? Who loves good graphics? Fuck that. Let's go retro, vintage, nostalgia. I like old shit. Sony does it for us. We love Sony here at the Masterclass Podcast. So, next year, when it comes out, buy it or get your pre-orders in for Sony's PlayStation Prime. See you next year on the battlefield. Virtual battlefield, that is. I'm not enlisting. It's the Sony. Okay, everybody, that didn't work out very well. Here's the skinny on that situation. I walked into the DMV. Not only did I walk, I strut. I did my strut right into the DMV. All the confidence in the world. They took one look at me. I walked straight up to the lady. I'm like, can I get an interview, please? I am on the Masterclass Podcast. In fact, I am the host of the Masterclass Podcast. And I'm looking for some information on motor vehicles. I want to teach my fans, my listeners, I want to teach them all about motor vehicles. And where best to do that than the Department of Motor Vehicles? Miss, do you know anybody who can help me? You want to know what the lady said behind the counter? She said, take a number. I thought, you are the rudest person in the world. Take a number? I just want to talk to somebody. Then I was told I had to actually take a number. I thought she was just kind of being mean and like, take a number. Everyone wants to know about vehicles. I thought that's the kind of attitude she was giving me, but turns out you don't get served unless you grab a number. So I took a number. My number was 483, and the number on the sign was 127. So the wait would have been at least 4 to 5 hours. I didn't want to sit around for that just to, talk to somebody and get stuff that I already know. I know all of this. I'm not the host of a Masterclass podcast because I don't know shit. That's not. I'm the host of a Masterclass podcast because I know everything there is to know about everything, and I'm here to teach you everything. So I grabbed a bunch of brochures. I stole actually a keyboard and a mouse, a wired mouse, which is weird because everyone's using wireless nowadays. I grabbed a couple of items, some pens, some pencils, some basic accoutrement. I'd strutted back out of that place with my strut, my classic axle strut, and I showed them what's what. I told them who's boss. So now I'm back in the car, continuing our investigation, our journey deeper into automobiles and the practice of driving. So I'm specifically, for this segment of the show, I actually want to just talk straight up driving tips. We've talked about maintenance. We've talked about the Department of Motor Vehicle stuff. That's kind of the administrative stuff. We talked about that. Now I want to get straight into the driving. It is dangerous out there. For me, for you, for your loved ones, for your family, it's dangerous behind the wheel of an automobile. So you better have your seatbelt on. I have several seatbelts on. I have 4 seatbelts on right now. All of them locked and strapped as good as I can be. Because when I take turns, such as this turn I'm about to take, I like to take turns without slowing down. See, I'm not slowing down whatsoever. Okay, and we took that turn full speed, and I actually took out, I didn't take him out, I clipped his back wheel of just a cyclist. He's fine. He recovered after he fell, and I was long gone anyway, so nobody cares. Speaking of cyclists, why are they on the street? There are sidewalks for them. Do you see me driving a car on the sidewalk? No! You do not. Why? Because that would be absurd and illegal, and first and most importantly, it wouldn't make any GD sense. A bicycle on the street? That makes as much sense as a car on a bicycle trail. And I didn't mean to rant there, folks, but here comes another one. Here comes another two-wheeled motherfucker. This asshole has no t-shirt on. If he fell, he would scrape up his back, probably his whole side. Disgusting. Just disgusting. That's not driving, that's cycling. That's for a future podcast episode of the Masterclass Podcast. Full-on cycling. Have you ever been cycling with me, folks? Well, believe it or not, I'm a professional cyclist. Oh my god, here comes another person on a bicycle. Okay, this is just a casual cyclist. That's fine, I'm okay with that. They deserve the road. They're not like they're no Lance Armstrongs flying up and down my side streets here. It's just dangerous on the road. Oh, here comes a fucking another bicycle. For bicyclists, for automobiles, for people on motorcycles, it's dangerous. Nobody uses their turn signal. Nobody knows how stops go. I'm gonna go breeze right through this stop because I've been here for much longer than that person. And that's a rule. Whoever was at the stop longer gets to go before you. It's just like a line. Do you understand how lines work? That's how stop signs work. Very much the same. Keep that in mind. Also, use your goddamn turn signals, folks. How many times do I have to say it? You know, we're about to go to break, but I'm going to rant here for another minute or two. I want to just give you the final notes of what how you should act when you're behind the wheel. 1, seat belts. 2, eye protection. These are just safety tips right here, but you should do it every time. 3, mirrors, check them. 4, make sure you can turn your neck to both the left and the right, just for safety's sake, because those mirrors lie sometimes. Those mirrors are liars. Even my mirror says objects in mirror may appear closer than they actually are. What does that tell you? That tells you that mirror is a fucking liar. Don't trust mirrors. That's my third or fourth rule. 5th rule, use your turn signal. How do I have to tell you this? 5th rule, go the speed limit. Go a couple miles an hour over. Don't even look at the speed limit. Just match what traffic is doing. Do not go slower than what traffic is doing. Why go faster than what traffic is doing? Where do you need to go so fast? Slow down. Slow your roll, guy. I'm about to pull over here. I want to start yelling some of these rules out the fucking window. So I'm going to roll this window down. Rule number 3. When at a stoplight, don't yell out the fucking window. That doesn't make any sense. Rule number 7. If you hear somebody yelling out the window, don't look back at them. They don't want you to hear what they're saying. Listen to the podcast. This isn't free fucking content, you bitches. This is for me. And my final rule. Just be good. Just be nice on the road. You don't want to be one of those assholes who cuts in and out, weaves in and out of traffic, just so he can be the first person at the stoplight. That's basically what you're racing towards. Just the first person at the next stop sign. If that's your goal, you are fucking wrong behind the wheel of a car, guys. I don't know how to stress that anymore. Do DBAA, don't be an asshole when you're driving. Simple as that. So, I feel like I'm yelling at everybody. Let's go to a break so I can cool down, shall we? Well, folks, I don't know if you hear this in my hand. It's an envelope. It's, one of those big envelopes, those brown, ugly, mean-looking envelopes. On the front has a bunch of stamps. Says Sony on the top. I thought it was my residual checks. But let me open it up and show you and tell you exactly what it is. I can't show you. This is an audio podcast. But let me show you. What do we have here? What we have here is a whole big old stack of what? These are papers. These are just papers and a whole bunch of papers. From who? The lawyers at Sony Entertainment. Cease and desist immediately. Claims should be in quotation marks. These are my claims, apparently. Claims that you are a spokesman of Sony products. You are in no way associated with Sony, its products, or its parent corporation. You will hereby cease and desist any and all allegiance and claimed partnerships with Sony Entertainment Systems. You know what, folks? I don't give a shit. I thought I could here's the thing. You hear podcasts, you hear people say, "Hey, go to this website and buy this mattress. Go enter this promo code and it'll give you a free month of audiobooks. Hey, you want some fucking underwear for a subscription? $5 a month, I'll send you brand new underwear each month. I haven't worn them." What does a guy have to do to get sponsored by these motherfuckers? I thought if I just read some copy, maybe I wrote it, maybe I didn't write it, but if I read it and then had it on my podcast, I figured the money would just start flowing eventually. That didn't happen. Cease and desist. Thanks a lot, Sony. Guess what I'm not going to buy in 2017? The PlayStation Purple Prime. I'm canceling my fucking pre-order. Suck it, jerks. Bye. Well, folks, my drive here is about to come to a close. I am enjoying telling you folks off, giving you the deets on driving itself. I wanted to briefly mention, I'm cutting in basically for one final thing to say as I'm behind the wheel. I kind of just came up with this. Driving is confusing. There are a lot of cars out there that look like yours. No, I'm just going to let that sink in. There are a lot of cars out there that look like yours. Good thing, bad thing, I don't want to be the judge. I don't want to be the person to tell you if that would make you as worried as it makes me. Because when I see a car that looks like mine, my first thought, my immediate reaction, the first thing that pops into my beautiful brain, my beautiful mind, is that must be me from the future coming to talk to me from the past. Because that car is dirty, my car is clean. That car looks like a few years older than mine, so it must be mine from the future, coming back from the past. Space travel, time travel must have been figured out by, like, a travel agency or Chevrolet or something like that, and they just added it onto cars. That's my first reaction. But I just wanted to be the one to tell you, probably the only one brave enough to tell you, straight right here on the Masterclass Podcast. You would only hear this kind of information here first, folks. If you see a car that looks like yours, it's probably not your car from the future. It's probably just some other person's car that's just like yours. There are a lot of the same cars out there on the road. Keep that in mind the next time you venture out into that great fucking scary wild place known as the open road. That guy's on a bike and he has a large beard. I just wanted to end this travel with that image in your head, folks. I'm going to keep driving. I haven't reached my destination. I really have no destination. I'm driving around. I don't give a fuck. I'll see you on, thanks for this is where I'm going to end my investigation in and of itself, my investigation of what? Cars, driving, automobiles. Thanks for listening to my investigation. This is the Masterclass Podcast. Wasn't that great, everybody? Thanks for joining me on our special expose investigation and our masterclass centered around automobiles. Now, what did you learn? What exactly have you learned today? Well, you learned cars. You learned how to care for cars. You learned proper driving techniques. You learned you learned what to do, what not to do, how to do, and I can't even tell you what else I fucking taught you in this thing because it was just wrought with lessons. You gotta ring it out. Maybe you'll have to listen to this one 3 or 4 times. Please listen to this one maybe 5 or 6 to 10 times. Each one of you, if you could listen to it maybe 20 times and send it to a friend and then have them listen to it 20 times and then have them send it to another friend and then they can listen to it 20 times, then I think the episode itself will have an impact that will better humanity, make life safer for everybody on the planet, and make sure I guarantee it'll decrease the percentage of auto accidents per year. Insurance rates will drop. You're welcome. Viral this episode specifically to save the world. I honestly think this episode is capable of it. And if the Masterclass has taught us anything, I think very highly of this show. And you should too, folks, so please subscribe and like wherever you can. I don't know if we're on iTunes anymore, to tell you the truth. I'll probably start figuring that out. But Google us, Masterclass Podcast. We're out there. Masterclass Pod at Twitter. Submit questions for a future episode that I'll make. Just do that anyways. I'll fucking answer any questions. I don't give a shit. But it's been a good one, everybody. I'll see you next week when we cover a mystery topic. You'll have to tune in to find out.
Goodbye! The Masterclass Podcast would like to say that no one was harmed in the making of this podcast episode. Also, we are in no way affiliated with Sony, its products, or anything it has. Thanks.